Amanda gets the nice duty of running around the ballpark today and seeing the sights and sounds out there. Here's the batting order that will be deployed by the SoCal Athletics in this championship game. Brian Tidd and Fernando Ornelas, the co-head coaches. Testa, Bolin, and Tidd will be the first three in the order, and on down through the line. You see how they'll set it up here to ignite the offense on this Independence Day Eve. See if we get some fireworks here in this championship game. For the Pumas, playing defense to start it off and designated as the home team today. Pitching is Danny East. Danny out of Van Nuys, California. Recently minted 15-year-old. Danny will be in the circle, and she'll be working the left arm today. Sure, we're glad to see that here in the booth.
A couple lefties up here.
The Pumas defensively will set it up this way. Martin, Ketchering, and Fabian across the outfield. Jimenez, Dominguez, Cook, and Clifton will play the infield defense. And see another Ketchering there. So if you look up the middle, Ketchering and Ketchering surrounding East. And that's right, some twins out there playing catcher in center field for the Pumas defense. And we're ready for championship action. It's the Futures Championship, 14 and under play. As you'll see, some of these players have turned 15, but the division is called 14 and under. And we are ready to get pitch number one of the championship. Pumas play in D. SoCal Athletics with the bats. Tara Testa. Strike one on pitch one at 58 miles per hour. Lefty on lefty to begin our championship game. That's down in the dirt, evens up the count.
Danny East, left-handed pitcher for the Pumas. Great all-around athlete, can hit for power. She'll be hitting out of the 3 spot for the Pumas, but just a kid with a lot of natural ability. As you know, Monica, us Southpaws have a little bit of funny English on our pitches, and Danny East fits right into that category.
Absolutely. Some of her go-to pitches is that screwball. So expect to see some inside pitches to those lefties, outside to the righties for Danny East. And then she, kind of interesting here, she has a knuckleball that she uses as her go-to.
3-1 count on the leadoff batter. Good spot for the hitter, Tara Testa, looking for a pitch or an easy on base. And it's ball 4. Walk to the leadoff batter. Testa on base, kicking things off for SoCal Athletics. And that brings Kenzie Bolin to the plate. Kenzie is scheduled to play some second base at the start of this game defensively for the Athletics. Here she gets a chance to hit with a teammate aboard. Mentioned the Ketcherings, and I did confirm that a couple times, spelled K-E-T-R-I-N-G, but they talked about it's like catch. It's like catch. And so behind the plate, Sarah Ketchering, she is catching to start this championship game. And her twin sister, Kayla Ketchering, out in center field. Kayla Ketchering's nickname, and I didn't get the full story behind this, is Nanny McGranny. We might have to follow up on that.
Maybe she's the older twin.
Yeah, I'm sure her sister gave her that name. Ball 1, so 5 pitches thrown for those balls. And now 6 pitches thrown. 5 pitches have been balls from the release of Danny East. Danny trying to find the zone here on the second batter into the order.
There's a strike. So important for pitchers to get ahead early in the count and to try to make the hitter chase pitches outside of the zone. When you work from behind, it plays into the hitter's hand. They can be patient and wait for a pitch down the middle.
Here's something down the line, gonna have a chance. It's over the head of the right fielder. One hops the home run fence. Runners coming and holding up at third base. Solid double, ripped to the right field corner, and the Athletics in business.
Well, in fact, that's what I'm talking about. When you get behind, you have to come in sweet to the zone, and that's exactly what happens. And Kenzie just blasts this ball the opposite way. It's going to get over the right fielder's head. Fabian does a good job of chasing that ball down, but it's just well struck, and SoCal A's in business with runners at second and third and no outs here in the top of the first inning.
Sammy Fabian, the scheduled leadoff batter for SoCal Pumas Black, as Michelle mentioned, out in right field. Good work to hustle that down and keep the leadoff batter from scoring. Leadoff hitter Tara Testa with some good speed, but not able to come around on that ball to the fence. And that is due to the quickly played in ball by Sammy Fabian. Emily Tidd batting the number 3 spot. Perfect spot for the 3-hole, couple on. Emily Tidd, left fielder in the starting lineup. She'll play outfield when they flip it around. The Athletics, but they are putting together a project here in the top of the first. 2-1 count. Kenzie Bolin, who just doubled out there on second base, is looking in at her best friend since they were 8 years old. And fouling one that'll get to the dirt. Staying alive is Emily Tidd. Emily Tidd and Kenzie Bolin told us been playing together and best friends since 8 years old, both now in the 14-year-old range. It's one of the great things about growing up playing ball. Travel like this, hang out with your buddies.
Absolutely, and this SoCal Ace team, they've been playing together for the past 3 years, and they're just slowly moving up each division and having success at, you know, each level that they've played.
Strikeout pitch from Danny East.
See, that pitch is going to move up and away. And when we spoke to the coaches, they said, it's going up and it looks like a rise. It's not really a rise. It's a fastball that's got a lot of English on it. So.
57 miles per hour from Danny East to start this at-bat to Ari Miranda. Ariana Miranda, the full name. San Diego, California, her home base. Big strikeout for East in a jam. Get another out here and you flip the script. Get out of here with nothing on the board. It'd be a major victory for the Pumas in the bottom or the top of the first. Pitch sails high.
With that, you bring up a good point. You know, it's always important to work out of jams, but if you can shut it down in the first inning and turn the tables, it's a huge mental help for you. But for a lot of these kids, it's their first time on television, so there's, you know, some nerves.
Yeah.
Take a little time to settle in.
Got the top shelf strike call, 3-1. When I met with the teams earlier, talking with these young players, I said, you've all been on TV before, and a lot of them just laughed and sort of shrunk under the table. This ball chopped back to the middle, going to score at least one. Runner held at third, and it'll be corners. First and third, and an RBI. Solid swing from Ariana Miranda. First game, or first run of the game on the board with the single.
Pitch on the outside corner, and Miranda's just going to go down and get it, drive it right back where it came from. A really good job of putting that ball back up the middle, and the Pumas limiting the damage to just one run, so first and third situation now.
Here comes Carissa Ornelas, catcher for SoCal Athletics. Nubs this to third, ball knocked down, kept on the infield, but runners will be safe everywhere. Scoring on the loose ball rolling through the infield. Second run of the game in, Kenzie Bolin across the plate.
It's a good effort by Jessica Jimenez trying to lay out and make a big play. Just tips her glove. She didn't quite get enough of it, but great effort, and you love to see that on defense.
And back outside of our booth, let's rejoin Amanda Scarborough.
Well, this athletics team is a really, really young team. Not one player on their team has even played in high school before.
This ball rolled to the right side, and again, no outs recorded. Ball hit to a dead zone in the defense. Load them back up for the Athletics, Amanda.
And just last year in 2013, they won the 12U PGF tournament, the national championship at PGF, and then the Triple Crown World Series championship. So this is a team that very, very young, but they play well together. They've been playing together for about 3 years now, and they were all born in the year 2000. So just showing a lot of youth and a big TV game for them, but showing no nerves here in the first inning.
Amanda, you are roaming around at the ballpark today for us. Appreciate you getting out and getting some sunshine. A little different conditions than yesterday. We did a couple of TV games across town here in the Metro Denver area. Very cool. These two teams from sea level and also a little sun exposure today up here at the high altitude. How's it feel out around the ball field today?
Well, it feels cooler, like you said, than it did yesterday. But you know what? That sun, I like it on my skin. Gives me a little bit of a tan, even though it might be a little bit of a farmer's tan, I'm not going to lie, but gives me a little bit of color, and I like a little bit of color, Thad.
You, there's a lack of humidity here compared to where you're used to hanging out.
And it means great hair weather is what that means. So lack of humidity and me go really, really well together, as I'm sure Monica and Michelle can attest to.
Well, I was just going to back you up on that, Amanda. Your hair looks fantastic today.
Oh, thank you. I'll give you a check for that compliment later.
Bases loaded pitch, swing through and a strike. Lexi Orozco in the batter's box. She's the shortstop for SoCal Athletics, and she's got teammates everywhere out on the bases. And Michelle, what do you think of that motto?
Softball was easy to be called baseball. Dishing on the boys a little bit, giving them a hard time for playing with that real small ball.
2 runs in here for the Athletics. Their first 2 hitters scored, a walk to Testa and a double by Bolin. And they have both moved around, still just 1 out, and bases loaded. We're on the number 7 batter in the top of 1 for SoCal Athletics. They may not be done yet. But again, in a big spot, there's a big pitch by Danny East. She's gotten a couple of strikeouts now when she needed them. Now they need 1 more out.
Big swing on that. Just a little bit of a screwball, fastball, just up in the zone a little bit. But gets her the big out that she needs.
And Lexi Orozco, who struck out there, you might have noticed as you looked at your screen, your TV screen. She's 14 years old. She's just about 6 feet tall. So the best thing about her 2014 fast pitch season so far, 5 home runs in 1 tournament.
Wow.
She strikes out and gives way to Mia Marinakis. Mia fouled off the first pitch of the at-bat, down 0-1 against Danny East, the lefty in the circle. Danny sends that high. .56 miles per hour on the pitch. Kind of fun to see our radar gun being operated by Brittany Unin, who got into the tournament this year with Boston University. Brittany played last year for TC Stars and has been part of the televised games here at Sparkler and Fireworks. And now Britt playing college ball out at BU, and is that the Terriers? I think she's a Terrier. And now she's down there shooting radar gun on these younger players for us today. 1-2 pitch with 2 outs. This ball popped foul ground, right side, drifting, and barely held on to. Nice adjustment to the ball. The out is recorded, but a couple of runs on the board. Pumas down by 2, first chance to bat. After half an inning of play, SoCal Athletics scratch out 2, and the Pumas black coming to bat with their first chance to swing it and make up for those 2 runs that went on the board. And the Pumas will look like this as they come to the batter's box. Sammy Fabian, the right fielder, leads it off. Noel Dominguez, shortstop, will bat in the 2nd spot. Danny East, the pitcher, will hit 3rd and take you on down through the lineup. You can see how they've stacked it up today. The Pumas black. That will be the offensive attack for the home team. In the circle for SoCal Athletics, Peyton Tidd out of San Marcos, California. Peyton's chance to throw, righty with the compression sleeve that we talked about a little bit last night.
It's a little style. You know, softball players, we love our accessories. We love our eye black, our bows, and arm sleeves, wristbands.
Very well bowed out there. In fact, as we look at the defense, looking around, I think every defender's got a bow. And they do. So, Monica, you're right. Tidd, Testa, and Neal in the outfield. Torres, Orozco, Bolin, Miranda around the infield. Tidd pitching to Ornelas behind the plate. That is the defensive set for the SoCal Athletics. By the way, they go by SoCal Athletics TO. That stands for Tidd and Ornelas. The co-head coaches, Brian Tidd and Fernando Ornelas. So SoCal Athletics TO, they have multiple teams. And the distinction here is the TO squad from Temecula, California is the group on the field here, playing defense with a 2-0 lead. Chop back to the pitcher. Quick flip, the dart throw, and an out. Hey, don't throw a no Twitter during today's game. We asked you yesterday to do it. We're going to ask you again. Use that hashtag TC Sports. Fans are tweeting from the bleachers. We're tweeting from the booth. Players might even tweet from the dugouts. Maybe not today, though. These are championship games. Yesterday and All-American games that happened a little bit. Get in the game. You can tweet into this thing at hashtag TC Sports. Hashtag TC Sports. Quick out for the defense of the Athletics on the 1-3 ground out. Good urgency on that play by Peyton Tidd. It was fairly sharply hit, but Tidd turned around and threw a dart right over to first base and had to against a speedy leadoff. Noel Dominguez. And there's the first base hit of the game for SoCal Pumas black, and it will be extra bases. Gapper, left center, and a double. Noel Dominguez.
Dominguez just gets a pitch that she can handle over the white part of the plate and just charges it the opposite way, right back up the middle. Gotta love the way that ball just kind of pops off the bat. She runs very well, easily in for a stand-up double.
So now the table at least partially set with Dominguez standing out at second base. Great swing. Noelle just 13 years of age. Here's Danny East, the pitcher. She has hit 15, as you saw there on your screen. It's end of the bat, sends it off to the on deck circle, third base side. 1-1 count. That used every inch of that bat.
Yeah,
and cap.
Absolutely.
That's a finger stinger right there. That stings the ends of your fingers when you do that. Woo.
Danny East, starting pitcher in this championship game. Triple Crown Sparkler. And she did offer, so a second strike up on the board. 1-2 with one out against the batter, Danny East. Danny said, one thing we just had to mention, if we talk about her, said the question she's most frequently asked, did you take your medicine? I didn't get the backstory on that.
Oh.
She starred that one, and so I said, star the thing that you like the most about what you put on your information sheet for us, and she said that was her favorite piece. So that must have a little, there must be a little something special behind that one.
Yeah.
Danny takes ball 2 to even up the count at 2-2. Said her favorite sports moment, winning the PGF Regional Championship in 2013, has been mentioned by a few of the players. So Danny East staying with this count, gets it to 3-2. And her teammate standing out at 2 is Noelle Dominguez, the shortstop for the Pumas Black. Would love to come around and cut this lead in half. Danny East would love to even it up with a long ball. Got it. Pitch is good for a strikeout. There is a strong delivery from the arm of Peyton Tidd, second out.
An excellent pitch, right on the outside corner, low in the zone. The hardest pitches to hit, that outside, low outside corner. She hits it perfectly for strike 3.
60-mile-per-hour strikeout pitch, the backwards K. And there she goes with something not 60 miles per hour. That thing floated up there at 49.
So changeup right there, Peyton Tidd. Her go-to pitches are her changeup and her drop curve. So we'll look for those.
Danina Martin from Northridge, California. Went there again. This is the number 4 batter. Some fairly savvy pitch calling and pitch delivery going here. Going with the scary but effective off-speed to the big 4-hole.
Yeah, back-to-back changeups.
Tidd's just very efficient with her delivery, locating the ball very well. And when you can mix speeds, it's typically a recipe for disaster for hitters.
0-2 pitch turns the count into 1-2. Is there any such thing as a waste pitch, by the way?
Yeah, definitely. I think that you have to throw pitches to the part of the zone where you want to move the eyes of the hitter so that you can come back in with a good out pitch.
So it's not a real waste, though. It's a setup,
It's
right?
a setup.
You never really waste anything when you're doing it.
There should be a reason every pitch you throw. Doesn't mean it has to be a strike.
I think sometimes with younger players, if they hear waste pitch, what causes that to be wasted is their mind doesn't stay with what they're doing with that pitch, and so they just sort of throw something up there, thinking, "Oh, good, I just get a throw this time."
Yeah, waste as in not as in it doesn't have meaning. Waste as in don't throw it for a strike.
Yeah.
But the younger mind may be like, "Oh, all right,
Oh, great.
I can throw this to the backstop."
That person behind the backstop's been annoying me all day. I'm going to throw this at him. Hey, there's a strike 3 pitch. Good inning by the pitcher for SoCal Athletics. Peyton Tidd gets a couple of strikeouts, gives up the double, but nothing on the board for Pumas Black. And after 1 inning of play at the Sparkler Futures Championship game, SoCal Athletics 2, Pumas Black 0. One inning recorded, and the SoCal Athletics win that first inning, 2-0. It's a scheduled 7-inning ball game today. Run rules 8 after 5. No time limit on this championship game, but an 8-run rule after 5, and a 7-inning game is on tap. And There's the answer with the changeup.
Yes.
You can do, I can do it 38 miles per hour.
Looks like that's her knuckleball right there. They did say, Coach said that she likes to throw it for the first pitch. So there we see Danny East.
Long swing, but the ball will sail into shallow center field, and that catch is made. The Pumas get that big first out, and it's Kayla Kettering making the catch out in center for the first out. And Amanda, what you got going on?
Well, you mentioned that the SoCal Athletics name is SoCal Athletics TO for both of their co-head coaches. And 2 years ago, they had two teams that merged, Fernando Ornelas from the SoCal Athletics and then Brian Tidd from Gamers Academy. And they said that they didn't live too far away from each other. They were tired of competing against each other, not just on the field, but for players. So they said, why not come together and merge and create one really, really strong team? That's exactly what they do. Two head coaches had coached against each other before, and now look at the product that they can put out on the field.
I'd say they're strong. Put together a nice group of players. And on that note, talking about nice players, meaning on the field, also pretty cool to hang out with. Earlier today, I had a chance to sit down with both these teams after they won their Power Pool semifinal games and got into this television game. And just a great bunch of people. Enjoyed hanging out with all of them. This ball bounced to the second base side of second base defense, and the down the line finish by Cassandra Torres to find her way on base.
It's a good effort by Jaden Cook. This nice swing, she just kind of mishits it a little bit, finds a hole. Jaden trying her best to make that throw across the diamond, a long throw for a second baseman.
A runner aboard for the Athletics. And back to the top of the order, Tara Testa walked her first time up and scored the game's first run. Swings on pitch one, fouls it straight back. A breeze blowing today, not strong, but probably just enough to mess with a high pop-up. Keep that in your mind. Few clouds floating around today, so not the worst of high blue skies, but I've seen a lot of players when they get to Colorado, if they're not used to the high blue sky, that can also affect your ability to track a high pop. 1-1 count with one down. Danny East saws off Tara Testa and sends it foul.
With that, and those are some of the adjustments that these athletes make coming in from California, the Midwest, the East Coast, coming to Colorado. As you mentioned, thin air, so not just your lungs, but the way it affects the game, the way the ball will travel in the outfield, the winds as well. And then, yeah, judging the ball, that's a big one as well, the background, the sky.
And here is one of those pop-ups. Shortstop calling it off, smartly played. Defensively, typically taught as call off the pitcher if you can get to the ball. I know you can catch those.
See the way the defense takes control. I love the way the shortstop comes in. She's waving her arms, so good job by Dominguez coming in, calling off verbally as well as waving those arms, saying and taking control of the infield.
Yeah, really like how she waited. Noelle Dominguez waited until the peak of that pop fly, allowing time to see if the ball was going to tail towards third base and let Jessica Jimenez take it or tail towards the pitcher. So calling it at the top of the peak is sometimes really important.
You know, these things maybe sound simple to the high level, the achieved, accomplished player, but some simple things that younger players often don't do is also run through that pop-up. They'll tend to get to where they think they're going to catch it and plant their feet. Good work to keep carrying right through the catch so you don't lose your momentum.
Yeah, absolutely. And she used two hands, too. I always love to see the two hands.
Use three if you have them. Can you get a foot in there?
If you're flexible.
3-0 count with 2 outs. And lost the hitter, so Kenzie Bolin doubled and scored her first time up, draws a walk here, and that brings Emily Tidd to the plate, the left fielder batting in the number 3 spot. So dangerous bats back at the plate here for SoCal Athletics. A couple of teammates aboard with 2 down. Cassandra Torres out at second base. Kenzie Boland just took first on the walk, and Emily Tidd in the box. Roller. They go the other way for it on a 6-5 put out. That will end the top of the second. And the Pumas get away with nothing allowed in that second go at the Athletics bats. Pumas come back down 2-0. SoCal Pumas Black's second chance to hit against the pitcher, number 14, Peyton Tidd. Peyton back in the circle for her second inning of work. Got a ground out, gave up a double, and then back-to-back strikeouts on the number 3 and 4 batters in the first inning to shut down the Pumas offense. Here she'll face the number 5 batter, Kayla Ketchering, the center fielder. Will be followed by Jessica Jimenez and Sarah Ketchering. So the Twins will bookend the 3 scheduled batters in the bottom of the second. Thad Anderson with Michelle Smith, Monica Abbott, and Amanda Scarborough from Aurora Sports Park in Aurora, Colorado. Fantastic park we're at today. 12 ball fields here, 3 pods of 4. And you're coming to a tournament wanting to be surrounded by and immersed in the game. This is the place to be.
It's a great setup. Easy to walk through. Lots of games to check out.
Ball dropped over to second base and played cleanly by the Athletics. And 1 down. Kenzie Boland picked it up. Now that's where Amanda is right now. She did herself a little hang glider. Good work, Amanda. Hovering above the park. Nice view from above the action.
Yeah, that would be pretty awesome. I'd be a little bit terrified. I don't know if I'd have a mic in my hand, though.
Oh, yeah, you would.
You can't.
We wouldn't let you get away without one.
Call the game from up there.
It's a great look. Be fun to watch defense rotate from that angle. Watch how the defenses move. Kenzie Boland just got to that last ball and recorded the out. Jessica Jimenez has the bat with her team down by 2 and 1 out on the board in the bottom of 2.
And, you know, one thing that really sticks out to me when I'm watching both of these pitchers pitch out here is just how smooth they are. Monica, Michelle, I mean, they have such good mechanics for being so young. Their head and eyes stay really still. They're efficient with their deliveries. They're just not a lot of wasted movement. And they are just such young talent out here on the field.
Yeah, absolutely, Amanda. I think that's one of the most important things as a young pitcher. You have to remember that these girls really aren't that old, and they still have a lot of growth as a pitcher that's going to be ahead of them as they go on to college, developing some really strong up and down pitches. But right now, at their age, the most important thing is a strong mechanics, staying on your power line and being able to hit your spots.
2-1 count, ball sent to left field, will hang up and played easily out in left by Emily Tidd. And that is a nice way to cue up the fact that Peyton Tidd and Emily Tidd playing together. They are cousins and have been playing together since they were 10 years old. Peyton and Emily, the cousins in the Tidd family, out here in Colorado enjoying things. And Peyton did tell us that she's been playing with her best friend, Alexi Orozco, since they were 8. So we've got a couple of different sets of best friends out here, one on each side of the diamond. Been hanging out for about 6 years together as best buddies and teammates.
Yeah, I think that's one of the great things about sports, especially female athletics, is that a lot of times our best friends are our teammates, you know. It was the same way with me, and I'm sure with you, Michelle, also.
Yeah, definitely. You spend that much time on the field with people, you get to know them.
Well, that's what I think has been great about the last couple of days, is that you guys are my best friends now.
That's right.
Is that right?
We spend a lot of time together in this booth.
And got tattoos last night together.
That's right.
That's right.
That ball bounces off the fence, popped up, got a piece of on-deck batter, but looks like she's all right over there, Bailey Clifton.
So here's Peyton Tidd. Look how she presents the ball, really gets an angle out of her hips, and then explodes off the mound. As she gets older, we'll expect to see a little bit more leg drive, a little bit more extension. But right now at her age, she's doing just a great job of really covering some ground out there in the circle.
Yeah, just nice and relaxed.
Exactly. Very
Bouncer
smooth.
from Sarah Ketchering, part of the Twins for the Pumas, and Ketchering grounds out to shortstop. Again, the defense nice and smooth. Lexi Orozco makes the play behind her best buddy, and second inning ends with the Athletics on top 2-0. 4 steps without a possibility of some Gatorade in your face, and Players love that. One of many things they love about being at this park is the provision of beverage. Here's a ball popped on pitch number 1 of the 3rd inning, and that will settle down for an out. Ariana Miranda flies out to center field. Kayla Ketchering, center fielder, on the task. Love to get that quick first out. Really sets a positive tone for the inning. Remember in the first inning when the Pumas played defense, they had to look at a walk and a double from the first 2 hitters. And a 3rd batter strikeout still wasn't enough to dig him out of that hole. A nice change of approach here. Last 2 innings, they've gotten the first batter out on fly balls to center field. As Carissa Ornelas steps in for the 2nd time today, singled with an RBI for the first time up.
Well, Thad, there's always a roadmap to success for pitchers, and it means first pitch strikes, getting ahead of hitters, pitching from ahead, first out of innings, you know, using your defense. And typically when pitchers do that, the outs roll up on the board instead of the scores or the numbers, the crooked numbers especially. Those are the ones that hurt you.
Yeah. You know, not always easy to do, but that's why we pitch. Gotta love the challenge.
Great job sitting on that pitch, just sitting back, and Chris Ornelas is on base with a solid single with 1 away. Ornelas on at first, and we'll jump back over with Amanda.
Well, I'm in the SoCal Athletics dugout down the first baseline, and I just love their organization of their helmets, because I remember being a player and just searching for my helmet when it's time to go hit. But look at how they have things to hang it on, and it has their numbers, so that way you know exactly where your helmet is, if it's missing, where it needs to be. And I just feel like that would just help with the efficiency of going in and out, and just knowing where your stuff is. I mean, it's something so simple, but I think it's so cute. I've never seen this before. I love it.
Are those metal? Did somebody metalsmith those things for them, or is that plastic? Or man, those things look like they came off somebody's ranch. Got the old anvil and hammer out.
Yeah, they're a California team, right? Not a Texas team, Amanda?
You know, that was born of, I'm sure that, it looks great, it's very cool. I'm sure that was born of a coach being really frustrated with, why does it always take you 17 minutes to get out of the dugout?
Yeah.
We're going to do something about this. I'm organizing this thing. But it pays off, and you know, it's those details, it's those little things about how you approach your pregame, your in-game, your post-game, and how you pack your bag and how you walk through the park.
Yeah,
Accessories.
efficiency in everything in life, you know. Most efficient businesses are usually the most successful. Same thing with teams, same thing with pitchers, hitters. You know, wasted energy is just wasted.
Hey, when I was 12, I believe I was sucking my thumb and hanging out in a sandbox somewhere. Ella Bolin, well, what she's doing, her nickname is Baby L. She's 12 years old. She's playing on television in the Futures Championship game. Congratulations to Ella and all the players who've made their way into this televised game on CBS Sports Network. Pretty cool opportunity for these young players. Ella said, I want to make sure you tell everybody I'm only 12 and I graduate in the year 2020. She's at 2020.
Wow.
It's getting out there a ways.
2020. We're hoping for the Olympics to be back in about that time in Tokyo. So there's a big vote coming up in December for that.
Ball popped on the infield, and the out is made. A little miscommunication on that play with shortstop second base interaction. Runner dives back after breaking. Ornelas gets back safely to the bag, so the pop out. And
well, it looks like it was a hit and run, so I think both the middle infielders a little shaken up because they were trying to decide who was going to go to second to cover the steal. The ball goes up in the air, and then they have to communicate. So important to know that your primary goal is ball. So it's ball, base, bag. So if you don't have the ball, you go to your base. If you don't have the ball or you're not going to your base, it's backup. So excuse me, so it's ball, base, backup. And those guys doing a good job of communicating, though, and making sure the catch is made and the out is recorded.
There's Lexi Orozco. And her second time up, she struck out her first time, the shortstop. Ella Bolin, by the way, who just batted, was in there for Alexa Neal. Neal, the right fielder. And that's an early indication from the SoCal Athletics. Brian Tidd, Fernando Ornelas, also Greg Testa on the coaching staff that going to try to get their players into this game, which is, it's a competitive game. Both teams want to win. They also want to do their best to give as many kids as they can a chance to get on TV and play in this kind of an environment. fun today, and it pays dividends down the line, too, when you engage a game like this as a young player.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, kids don't sign up to ride the pine. You know, everybody wants to participate, so I think it's great when coaches give everyone a fair shake at getting in the game and showing their skills off. It's what teams are all about. And you have to have role players. Very important. You never see a championship team without those folks that can come off the bench and participate.
This ball will settle into left field for a single. Orozco drops one in with 2 outs, and that'll set 2 runners on the bases at first and second. Ornelas down to 2 on the single from Orozco.
Now batting number 12, Mia Marinakis.
Orozco is going to take a pitch on the outside corner. She actually loops around it, but she's strong enough to get this ball into left field, gets it to drop. So opportunity here for the Pumas. Excuse me, for the Athletics, already up 2-0.
Mia Marinakis popped out to first for the 3rd out of the 1st inning. Bats again here in the 3rd. That pitch is down at 55 miles per hour. There's a strike, 1-1 count. Snap down to first, diving back safely is Orozco. Good quick trigger from behind the plate by Sarah Ketchering. Sent that down to Bailey Clifton playing first base. Outside with the 1-2 delivery. Deuces here. And 2-0 Athletics leading in the top of the 3rd. Big pitch coming. Pumas playing defense, don't want to fall behind by more than 2 here in this 3rd inning. And they won't. Strikeout pitch, getting the job done. The Pumas get through another traffic battle on the bases. Danny East with the strikeout. Lefty sends it. Sends her team back to hit. In the circle, just got done batting, and now Mia Marinakis will deliver.
Marinakis is going to throw the ball 57, 58 miles an hour. She's got a good rise, curveball, screwball, and the changeup. I like the fact that these coaches are wanting to get all their kids in, especially their pitchers.
These tournaments known, the Sparkler and Fireworks known for being surrounded. You mentioned earlier, Michelle, 800 college coaches.
Yep.
And don't fool yourself. There's some eyeballs around here today, so seeing those pitchers and those players who have a chance to make an early impression. Showcased here in this championship. Ball popped up and caught in center field. The fly out to Tara Testa and one away. Amanda Scarborough.
I talked to the assistant coach of the Pumas, Sammy Mallory, that she's also their first base coach, about what kind of adjustments she wanted their hitters to make up at the plate. And she said, really, we just need to do what we do best, stick to our game plan. We're a team that's built on speed, not on power. And our lefties right now are hitting the ball to the right side of the field, not utilizing the opposite field to the left side of the field. So we can't even really use our speed. So even though there's a new pitcher out there, it doesn't matter. You stick to your game plan and play your game, no matter who's out there.
Got to use those resources, those tools that you build your program around, and regardless of pitching change, got to stay with it. Go Jaden, it's your birthday. No, I'm not kidding. It is actually Jaden's birthday. Jaden is 15 today, and her birthday present, she gets to play on CBS Sports Network in a nationally televised championship game. Jaden fouls this back for a 1-1 count. 15 years young today is Jaden Cook from Moore Park, California. Sky and Stacy, her parents. They both made the trip to Colorado. Looks like her 20-year-old brother Drew did not get to make the trip. He must have been in the doghouse. Didn't let him do the Colorado thing. Maybe he's busy with his own stuff.
Yeah.
Shouldn't accuse him of such things. Jaden's birthday, that's pretty cool. Used to hit right-handed, and now on the left side of the plate, facing a 1-2 count with 1 out. And a solid start for Mia Marinakis. First couple of outs recorded, a fly out and a strikeout.
Mia Marinakis with that rise ball straight up in the zone, breaking that pitch early to that slapper as she runs through. It's really important to make those adjustments as a pitcher and change your breaking point.
And the word is utility.
Pitch bounces through.
Utility.
Dropping down. Looking low. Behind the plate. Looks like, trying to double check that. Looks like Ariana Miranda moved back behind the plate, was playing first base earlier, and she has moved to the catcher slot. Michaela Lopez is taking over at first. This ball chopped to second, and that's going to get down to the legs, and an error and on base. So the Pumas put a runner on with 2 down.
Next up, number 3, Noel Dominguez.
Well, this ball just struck down to the right side, and you can see that Boland's going to come in and just doesn't get down in front of it. So important to make sure you bend those knees. You can see she doesn't even really go down for that ball. So important to really try to get a good wide base, lower yourself so that glove is on the ground.
So it's Sammy Fabian safely on at first base with 2 outs. Into the heart of the order we're headed here. Noel Dominguez, the number 2 batter. Hit a double her first time up on a nice swing, sent it to left center. Good extension and hit it hard for a double. Dominguez, she can repeat the feat, find a way on base. A chance to have Danny East, the lefty number 3 batter, get in there with a couple of teammates on. One and one count. Pitch from Marinakis. Runner going, throw down. In behind the tag, slides Sammy Fabian. Sammy safely in, adjusting the face mask. Now a threat to score with 2 outs. Dominguez with a 2-1 count. First base, that's going to get away, and it's going to score a run off the glove of Lopez, and the Pumas Black are on the board. 2-1 the score as Fabian comes around from second.
The Pumas doing a good job of just trying to make something happen here, and Dominguez gets around this ball, goes off the first baseman, Miranda, and just dribbles away. So opportunity for the Pumas to continue running. They do so, and they scratch their way up onto the board.
And now Danny East steps in. Strike 1 to East.
And you guys know how important it is, too, when you're a pitcher in the circle and you throw a ground ball out. And it's defense's job to take care of the ball, because the Athletics could have easily been out of this inning with some solid play back behind.
This ball sprayed up above shortstop and handled easily by Lexi Orozco for the 3rd out, but the Pumas Black on the board. We've got a 2-1 ball game heading into the 4th inning of a scheduled 7-inning game. Faced traffic every inning, but only allowed runs in the first. The strikeouts came up big, as we just saw last inning. Strikeouts helping out, still playing at this 14-year-old level, so some ground balls aren't always going to result in outs. We just saw that in the bottom of the 3rd. That led to the run. And as Amanda mentioned, you throw ground balls as a pitcher, you want those outs. There were two ground balls in a row, outs not recorded. Remember the stolen base, by the way, from Sammy Fabian. That played a huge role. She got down to second on that steal and then was able to score on a ball that never, I think, made it to the grass. It bounced off first baseman's glove, stayed on the dirt, but because of the steal, she was able to score second to home on that loose ball in the infield. Welcome to the game, Presley Moralia. Play a little defense. Hashtag TC Sports is heating up. Let's make it trend. Hashtag TC Sports. Over 800 teams in Colorado for the Triple Crown Sparkler and Fireworks tournaments. Tell the world all about it. Get in the game at hashtag TC Sports. Monica, if you hit your 19 tweet, not limit by any means, mandate requirement.
Well, you know,
You've been
maybe
too busy.
next inning I might have to throw one up.
Get a couple going.
Get a picture or something.
Hashtag
Get a picture
TC
of the
Sports
crowd.
is the tag to use. Hashtag TC Sports. Let us know who you're rooting for today or what you're seeing in this game, and tell the world a little more about one of your favorite players out here. 57 miles per hour from Moralia on the pitch that took it to a 2-0 count, and now a 3-0 count, and 56 miles per hour there. While we are thinking about it here, our plate umpire Trina Comerford from Oregon, 11-year umpire. At first base, Cody Little from Oklahoma City, 13-year umpire, and Mike Hernandez over at third base from Colorado Springs, 11-year umpire. Thanks to our 3-umpire crew today. And Trina didn't like that pitch, called it a ball, and down to first base on the walk is Michaela Lopez, and there's 1 out and 1 on, Amanda.
You know, as important as this game is, being just a game that has a lot of meaning to Southern California teams and just vying for a small part of a championship here, I love the fact that these coaches are wanting to utilize all of their pitchers and stick with their game plan so that all of their pitchers get a little bit of experience in a big game against a big team on TV, because they're preparing them not just for this game, but they're preparing them for later on down the road in nationals in a couple of weeks, so that all their pitchers have experience and can kind of work through that stress a little bit to what it's like to be in that circle on the pitching rubber in a big game.
Michaela Lopez was the walk. She's forced out at second base. Hustling down the line, Tara Testa avoids a double play turn, but Lopez forced out for the second out on a 4-6 put out.
Now up number 27, Kenzie Boland.
Cleanly played up the middle by the Pumas defense. Dominguez the shortstop. Cook the second baseman. Kenzie Boland having a strong day, has a double and a walk, a run scored, one of the 2 runs for her team. Referring back to Amanda's comment, your earlier comments, Michelle and Monica, about the pitching and seeing the pitching. Here's a bounced ball to second base, easily played for the 3rd out. We'll talk a little bit more about that. We've seen 4 pitchers, and we're in the 4th inning. Good to see that, too. We'll see a little more when we come back on the flip side of this mid-inning break. 2-1, Athletics hold the lead. Martin, strikeout victim her first time. She'll lead it off in the bottom of the 4th. Again, 7 innings scheduled in this game. Run rules in effect at 8 after 5. Right now, that's not a hot topic. It's more about who's going to squeak out a nail-biter here at Aurora Sports Park at the Triple Crown Sparkler on CBS Sports Network. SoCal Pumas black. Martin looks at a ball low for a 1-0 count. Talked about the coaching staff earlier from SoCal Athletics on the Pumas black side. Their third base coach and head coach, Carlos Gutierrez. And he told us that his favorite thing about coaching is building future female leaders, working on more than just the game, trying to help these young women move their way into productive and successful and happy lives. Our appreciation to Carlos Gutierrez on his coaching staff, along with Sammy Mallory and Daisy Barcena for putting in the time and the effort, just like Brian Tidd, Fernando Ornelas, and Greg Testa are on the flip side with the Athletics. And again, I said it earlier about enjoying meeting with these teams, and both coaching staffs just immensely helpful today, and anything we needed to get ready for this TV game, they were enjoying this as much as the players. Just the chance for this to happen for everybody. We thank them for their efforts and their time spent on and around the diamond.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a great shot through the 5-6 hole.
Danina Martin on base.
Danina Martin, so simple, hands straight to the ball, gets to contact, goes down and gets that. Great job.
Danina reported to us she's almost a head taller than all of her teammates. She's
I know what that's like.
Monica's been there and is there. Loves some country music, puts her in a good mood every day, especially Luke Bryan, Danina told us. So she's on base, going to be moved up by a bunt, and dead ball called.
Yes.
Batter is out.
Ball hit her as she took her first step towards first base, right in the foot. Here she goes, excellent executed bunt there, and ooh, just right there, gets her.
You see the way she crosses over, she's actually out of the box.
That was Jessica Izagiri who was pinch hitting, pinch bunting, and Jessie is out on a bang-bang play and a very good call from behind the plate. That's not that easy to see when everything's in motion, and Trina Comerford, our plate umpire, right on top of the call. So the runner not advanced there, sent back on the sacrifice bunt try. Great effort over here on the near side down the third base line, diving, and Cassie Torres almost made the play of the day, and she'll get a high five from the opposing coach on her way back over to her position. Coach Gutierrez said, that's awesome. Way to go get it.
So close right there. You know, as a pitcher and as a defense, you know, you love seeing your teammates sell out for a play and really pumps you up. So let's see how Mia Marinakis comes back after this girl.
Pitch in, pitch misses for a 1-2 count. Big swing, and Jessica Jimenez is a strikeout victim. So after a leadoff single and a bunt try that resulted in an out of the box call, now a strikeout for 2 down.
Great pitch. She gets under that pitch. Little rise ball there from Marinakis, straight through the zone.
Another pinch hitter or batting substitution.
Now batting number 23, Brianna Johnson.
Brianna Johnson has her turn in the box. 15-year-old out of Sun Valley, California. Brianna earlier today told us really misses her dad and really loves Disneyland. Those are the two things she had to say. But Mom made the trip. Gretchen is here, but John not able to be on the trip. And Brianna wanted to say hi and miss you, Dad. And she'd also like to drive in the tying run in this Futures Championship game at the Triple Crown Sparkler. Floats it above second. That'll sail into right field, and no problem out in right field. The catch is made. The third out is recorded. Put away in right field by Ella Bolin. We head to the fifth, 2-1 Athletics.
An article together for him.
Sure, everyone appreciates all of your knowledge and wisdom. I know I do. I love to read what Michelle Smith has to say and all the other contributors. Look forward to it every month.
Line shot to center field. Good swing, but it results in an out. Emily Tidd all over that pitch. Out number 1.
I'm really surprised this game has been so close. I thought the way it started off with those 2 big runs in the first inning and then some opportunities for the Pumas. They didn't get on the board until the bottom of the third, but I thought we'd see a couple more runs push across. I think everyone's kind of settled in, though, doing their job, just playing efficient softball.
Yeah, some big strikeouts in key situations have kept this game close.
Two 2-0 count to Ariana Miranda. Single and a fly out in the game. An RBI. Knocked in one of the 2 runs on the board for SoCal Athletics TO. Chops this one into the 5-6 hole. Going to be tough. Floating throw will not get away. Good hustle down the line from the catching position. Also good movement at the first base side, but that's an infield hit as Miranda gets down the line.
I thought it's a good job by Bailey Clifton over at first base. I love the effort of Noelle Dominguez. Great job in the hole. Tries for the Derek Jeter-esque play, but Bailey Clifton over there comes off first base and prevents that runner from going to second base. So good overall effort by the Pumas.
Carissa Ornelas to third, strong. This throw will be snagged and the force made. Good glove work out there. Quickly played up nicely from third, but it was an important catch to not let the ball sail into right field by Jaden Cook and records the force out.
Well, Cameron at third base does a good job of really snagging this ball. Immediately, no hesitation at all, is going to go to second base. Gets a little love from her teammate, making sure that the catch is made at second base. So good job by the Pumas to get the lead runner and the second out of the inning.
Cameron Webb made that play. Told us earlier she loves her dogs and also proved to me that she is double jointed. Turned her arm almost inside out.
Oof.
Maybe use that there to torque that thing over to second base for the out. Alexa Neal is the scheduled batter here and will take her turn. She comes back in. Bolin hit for her earlier and now will step back out for Alexa Neal, who singled her first time up. Also, that first out of the inning here, the line out to center field, Jessica Izagari, who we saw attempt a bunt in the last half inning. Izagari took over in center field, handled that line drive to start off this top of the fifth. Another ball on the infield, easy pickup and play, and the defense is there. Jaden Cook, unassisted put out at second base. Pumas just sitting there waiting to pounce. They're down 2-1 to the bottom of the fifth inning in Colorado. The Athletics will play defense again. Third base, Michaela Lopez, you saw the number 24 there. She's in tight on this leadoff at bat. First pitch is drilled down the first base line, taking a pop at the coach. Pumas down by 1. Big inning here, playing 7 in this championship game. But the clock is ticking and the outs are piling. Pumas would love to pull even or jump on top after trailing from the outset. Ever since the top of the first, they went down 2-0. Valerie Gutierrez just shot that ball foul down the first base line, nearly taking out Sammy Mallory. Yeah, tries it again. There's something going on there.
Getting around that ball.
Coincidence? I don't think so.
Well, she moved up in the box, crowding home plate a little bit more.
Well, Sammy Mallory works with the pitchers and catchers, and the batter, Valerie Gutierrez, is a left fielder and first baseman, so there's not any kind of coach did something to me in my position works. So I think those are just good swings, getting around on the pitch a little early on things. Sends this one upward on a 43-mile-per-hour pitch and popped out to second base for the first out of the bottom of the fifth inning, caught by Kenzie Bolin.
Next up, number 24, Cameron Webb.
Jaden Cook batting spot here, the birthday girl who just made a good play out at second base to end a couple of plays actually, but made the one that ended the top of the fifth. Jaden will check out and be replaced by a hitter, another hitter. She's a hitter herself, but she's going to give up her spot for a pitch one swing by Cameron Webb. Cameron Webb, the double-jointed third baseman who we saw last inning.
And who is also a cross-country runner, so very fit individual. I love that.
I love the idea of that.
Yeah, same here.
Cameron Webb, a Matt Kemp fan. She didn't put Monica Abbott on there.
Matt Kemp,
could you strike out Kemp?
I don't know, maybe we should arrange
Let's set
that.
Let's set that up. Ball nubbed foul. I just like the word nubbed, so I appreciate that I had a chance to use that. We're in the fifth inning, bottom of 5, and the Pumas down 2-1, got their run on a couple of errors back in the third inning. Had a leadoff batter on last inning in the fourth. Almost got front legged a little too much by that off-speed 41-mile-per-hour pitch, but stays alive and sees another pitch, does Cameron Webb. Mia Marinakis steps back in. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. It's a strikeout pitch, 2 down.
Marinakis every once in a while rear back and throw a good pitch. You see the way the movement on this is going to have a little bit of wiggle at the end, but just nice velocity, slightly elevated. I love the fact that the kids at this age still will throw a fastball that has a little bit of English on it.
So with 2 down in the bottom of the 5th, Pumas need to build something here. Their previous run they scored did all start with 2 down back in the 3rd inning. They had a fly out and a strikeout and then a couple of infield ground balls that got some runners on. So they've done it once before for 1 run with 2 away. They'll have to repeat that feat to tie it up in the 5th. Running through and taking a ball down is Sammy Fabian. Fabian, the leadoff hitter.
Excellent off speed. Just falls right into the glove.
So it's a flip change, it's spinning in the opposite direction it's moving. So
You see that spin really well.
yeah, it's hard for the hitter to pick it up velocity-wise.
Well, there's a great way to honor somebody Sammy Fabian wanted to honor in this game.
Flip change, it's spinning in the opposite direction it's moving. So
You see that spin really well.
yeah, it's hard for the hitter to pick it up velocity-wise.
Well, there's a great way to honor somebody Sammy Fabian wanted to honor in this game. Sammy said, shout out to my hitting coach, Sarah Larkier. And Sarah, good work. Sammy getting it done with 2 outs.
Well, yeah, Sammy sees a second changeup in a row. It's elevated up at her eyes, and that's the reason why you always want to make sure you throw a changeup low in the zone. When it's in the eyes, you can actually identify it. It's easier to tell with your depth perception if it's coming faster or slower. So that pitch up in her eyes, and Fabian just bashes it into the outfield. Good piece of hitting.
Sammy looks up to her hitting coach, Sarah Larkier, who played at University of Virginia and 4 years as a pro. Now stealing, don't know who she gives that credit to. Might be to
Mom and Dad.
Lan or Todd,
yeah.
the parents. Yeah, who don't know who that came from, but getting a lot done now, swinging it and stealing it. This is how it happened last time, too, a stolen base after an on base with 2 down.
Yep.
Can the Pumas repeat it to tie the game? And it was Fabian last time reaching on the error and then stealing second and scoring. So she is doing the same style of approach here. Ball shot to left center and it's handled. Pretty good swing on the ball by Noel Dominguez out in center field. Tara Testas played a nice center field today and caps off the 5th inning with that catch, leaving Fabian out on the bases. So our score stays 2-1. SoCal Athletics have the lead over the Pumas Black. Michelle Smith is here. Monica Abbott's right next to me. We're hanging out in our broadcast trailer. I'm Thad Anderson, and you just saw Amanda out doing her bit of the contribution here on CBS Sports Network. And our thanks to our production crew today. Back-to-back days of production, doubleheaders both days. Martin Tarr, our producer, and Curtis Lorenz, our director, and on down and up the line. I guess it's up the line from there. Everybody else who has been part of this last couple of days, thank you very much for all your efforts. Clouds have come in a little bit. Breeze has picked up. It's actually turned into a very nice, not hot atmosphere out here. A great way to finish these last couple innings.
Yeah, it was hot for a little bit in the beginning of this game. The breeze feels good now.
Orozco takes a strike and now looks at a 2-1 count. I moved back a little bit when Lexi came up to bat. She is an imposing figure in that right side batter's box at just 14 years of age. It's a big swing and fouls it away.
Yeah, a lot of these young athletes are learning what it takes to play at the elite level. The conditioning, the agilities, the training. You know, I ask a lot of them before the game, you're playing a lot of games, I know that, but are you practicing? Yes, yes, ma'am. Are you practicing on your own? Yes, ma'am.
This ball toward right, running in, making the play, out number 1. Good catch on the Orozco pop. And defense in place for the Pumas. Emily Caballero playing right field now, and Emily comes on, makes a nice basket catch. Want to give a shout out to her 4 dogs at home. So Does one of you speak dog?
Woof, woof.
I knew you'd do it. The dogs have been addressed.
I looked at, I could tell in those eyes. Dad was like, "Come on, give me your best bark."
You go ahead. You go ahead.
Monica would lay out of that one.
Yeah. Pass. Pass it on.
Mia Marinakis doing the pitching at this point for her athletics defense, swinging the bat here. Pop up and a strikeout today from Mia. Hit to short and pulled off the ground for the second out. Pulled off above the ground, caught on the fly for the clean out.
Great rotation on the backside, but just lines it right at short. Good job making sure that the leather is underneath the ball. Dominguez doing a good job at shortstop this afternoon.
Yeah, she's smooth, has that look of a shortstop, the athletic, quick reactions, good hands. Misses her brothers and her mom. They didn't make the trip, but Dad and Grandpa did. But put that aside for the moment, made the out. Two away in the top of the sixth. Another chance to hold serve here for the defense of the Pumas. Into right. Caballero steps into it. Well, there's another good inning. They're doing what they got to do to get to the next stage. And they'll bat again. The Pumas down by 1. Athletics play defense. Bunt is down, and bunt's going to work on base to lead off the bottom of the 6th inning. Perfectly done.
Great job of bunting a ball down in the zone. Look at the crossover. Great hand-eye coordination. Deadens the ball. Danny East with a lot of athletic prowess. We saw her pitch earlier in the game, and here she gets herself as a leadoff batter on here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Alexa Neal from the circle. Nobody out and 1 on, and that's going to move the runner up. Wild pitch bounces through to the backstop. Tough ball for Ariana Miranda in the dirt. And the Pumas in business. Pumas coach Carlos Gutierrez checking his lineup card. Making sure that they've got everything in order. Again, working to get these rosters involved. We've got Caitlin Rivera in the box with nobody out. And a runner on second. That is the tying run out at second with Danny East. Getting tight here, Amanda Scarborough.
Yeah, well, Carlos Gutierrez, the head coach of the Pumas, actually goes by the mindset of an unbeatable mind for his team. I like that phrase. I like that quote. He actually had his team read Mind Gym. It's a book, and it's all about just having a strong mind, how to go about doing that. He actually took time at practice to go over the chapters, go over some quotes, and he stresses to his team the 5 C's, which is maintain consistency, maintain control, composure, confidence, and communication. So those 5 C's are what this team lives and breathes by, and also that unbeatable mind. So you better believe that unbeatable mind is going to come and play a part in this game here in the late innings, down by 1.
It is tightening up. Time to employ everything you got physically, mentally. As players are engaged in trying to take home this Futures Championship from the Sparkler in Colorado. Striking a 2-1 count to Caitlin Rivera. I want to say hi to her parents and sister and her 3 dogs back at home in California, did Caitlin. Here she wants to drive in a run and won't quite get it. Will beat the throw. Well, an important bit of leather out there from Alexa Neal. If she doesn't get a glove on that, good chance that's scoring the runner. Neal knocked it down just enough, and Orozco almost threw out the runner. Rivera down the line, but now first and third with nobody out.
Good job by the A's trying to get the out at first base. Rivera just runs too well, places that ball perfectly back up the middle. So Pumas in business here with a first and third situation, bottom of the 6th with no outs.
Sounds like we had a courtesy runner employed. I heard 4, which is Emily Caballero. Runner will go. That is Caballero running, and the middle cut play. They'll let the steal happen to not give up that run from third. It's a 2-1 ball game. The batting team, the Pumas, down by 1, and they've got the tying run at third, the go-ahead run at second with nobody out. Good work down there from Ariana Miranda, not letting that ball trickle through in the dirt. With Kayla Ketchering batting. This is Nanny McGranny, who we mentioned earlier. Chance to tie it or put her team on top. Runs through, swings through, and a strikeout. Good composure by Alexa Neal, who just had to deflect the line shot moments ago back through the circle. Gets the strikeout for out number 1.
Number 2, Jessica Jimenez.
Coming in at 56 miles per hour from Neal, and now time taken, some strategic conversation. The Pumas gather up with Coach Carlos Gutierrez.
Well, and I think in this situation that it's important for the Pumas to figure out what they're going to do. The A's obviously have their infield in. Took a look at that just before time was called, so the middle infielders are going to be inside the line, first and third up the line. Because remember, they have the 2-1 lead here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Last thing they want to do is let the Pumas either tie it up or go ahead, because then they're down their last 3 outs. So important situation here defensively for the A's. They need to make sure that if they have the opportunity to get the out at home, they want to go after it. But what's most important is that runner at second base, trying to make sure she doesn't score. That would be the go-ahead run.
That's the Diamond Sports version of sudden change. When you go from that leading into the bottom of the 6th in a 7-inning game, you go down and then you're 3 outs and you lose, and you feel like we won 5.5 innings of that game. We lost 1 basically, and we lose.
Ari Miranda continually being a wall back there for Alexa Neal. Such confidence to go with that changeup and bouncing it in her catcher over and over again, being a wall and not allowing that runner to score that ball to get by her. Great job by Ari.
Jessica Jimenez takes a pitch up and sees a 3-0 count. Walk would load him, which wouldn't be the worst thing in the world necessarily for the force at the plate. So you don't want to throw anything too fat right here for a 2 RBI base hit. Got to stay on the edges if you can. Nicely executed by Alexa Neal to stay in this count at 3-1. How about some pressure for young players? These are big pitches, big swings. Missed, and the bases are loaded full of Pumas. Amanda.
In between innings, I glanced over in the third base dugout and saw the Pumas doing 10 jumping jacks in sync, in unison together. And I came in the dugout and I asked him, why were you guys doing that? And they said, because Coach Gutierrez wanted us to have a little bit more energy. So those jumping jacks, trying to click them into just getting into this game just to get back in it.
Sorry, hang on, I was doing jumping jacks. There's a bouncer. That's over third base. 1 run in, the game is tied. Base hit delivered by Sarah Ketchering, the tying RBI, sending Danny East to the plate.
Well, this is a big moment for Ketchering. First pitch swinging is going to pop this ball through the 5-6 hole. I love the fact that the defense is in and she's just going to work on driving it hard through the defense, getting the ball on the green to score a run. She does that. She's aggressive on the first pitch. That's a big moment for a young athlete to be able to do that. A lot of athletes in that situation are going to be tentative. They may watch a couple pitches, and that's not what you want to do when a pitcher just walked the bases loaded and is now in a pressure situation where she has to throw strikes.
Sarah Ketchering's first hit of the day drives in a run and ties this championship game at 2, and the base is still full of Pumas with Bailey Clifton at the plate. Clifton re-enters into her batting spot. started here and flew out to center, as you see, back early in this game to lead off the third inning, and then stepped out for a pinch hit. And now back in with a chance to put her team on top. Strike called. Pretty good spot there to go to 1-1. Having trailed the entire game, the Pumas, for the first time, other than the very first few pitches of this game when it was 0-0, have gotten back even at 2-2. This ball bounces down the line and bounces into the glove of a lunging Cassie Torres. For the second time, Torres laying out. Almost picked it up, but just short hopped into her glove. Gonna need some laundry there tonight, Cassie. It's the second time we've seen her just completely sell out. Bounce to second, coming to the plate. Game still tied. No double play. Safe down at first, but the fielder's choice 4-2. Good quick play from Kenzie Bolin. Had the ball, looked like it maybe got up on the heel of her glove just a little bit, but got the grip and got it home.
Well, nice defensive play by the A's. Clifton actually very lucky she did not get thrown out on a double play there. She was kind of lollygagging down the line. So important when you hit the ball like that in a bases loaded situation, you had better get to first base.
Now with 2 outs and the score tied at 2, Cameron Webb. It's her turn to take a shot at putting the Pumas in the lead. To short. Orozco, low throw, no problem. Picked up easily at first base by Mia Marinakis. And we are tied at 2 after 6. 7th and final inning comes up next on CBS Sports Network. 2-2, tying it up in the bottom of the 6th and sending us tied into our final inning with a 2-2 count, and the SoCal Athletics TO with their chance to cap a championship in the final inning. Danny East has returned to the circle, started this game pitching, and now the lefty back in there. She is facing the at-bat by Cassie Torres. Cassandra Torres out of Murrieta, California. Danny East started off the bottom of the 6th inning with a bunt single. Perfectly laid down, not even a chance to throw her out, and wound up scoring that tying run.
Very athletic athlete. The coaches, speaking with them before the game, they just said she's one of those kids that has a lot of prowess, can do a lot of different things. Natural lefty, hits from the left side, slaps. Just good all around.
East throws a strike on a 3-0 count, steps to the back of the circle. Looks like she's doing that recomposure move between each pitch, just steps back and resets her mind. And lost her. Walk to the leadoff batter in the top of the 7th, Cassie Torres on base.
Next up, number 66, Tara Testa.
Maybe a little low.
Maybe a little low.
Looked like a pretty good pitch.
Good execution, just didn't get the call, and got to come back and get the next one.
Bunt try by Tara Testa. Sails foul.
Well, you guys were talking about how composed East is out in the circle, and I am in complete agreement with you. And she's only about 5'5", 5'6", so not extremely tall, but when she pitches, when she's out there, she just looks taller. She gives that impression. So really good athlete out in the circle for the Pumas.
Got the war paint eye black on, that adds to the look. Bouncer, tough hop, and thrown away. No move up, but the error is going to put runners at first and second with nobody down. So Testa's ground ball turns into an on base.
Well, great thought by the defense. This is exactly what you want to do. You want to get the lead runner, especially in a tied game, late. But the execution off just a little bit. That throw inside the line, shortstop coming across, runner coming in, tough play.
Jaden Cook handled a hop that might have eaten her up and wasn't able to get the throw into the right spot for the gliding shortstop cover by Noel Dominguez. And now trouble for the defense of the Pumas and a great chance for the SoCal Athletics, who just saw their lead erased in the last half inning, answering very nicely here with their first 2 runners on. And from the Pumas standpoint, time for some pitches here. They've got a 1-1 count. Danny East steps back in. And Kenzie Bolin, who has just been good all day long with a double, a walk, and then a ground out, and also has played solidly at second base. Right person, right time. Got the visors, rally visors. Flipped around. Jumping jacks.
Yep.
Rally visors. I think they're enjoying themselves. This ball punched, and there is a running play. Jaden Cook grabs it. A lot of spin on that ball. Be careful with how that one hits the glove. Cook right on it.
The bull on the righty gets jammed up just a little bit, and because of that, that ball has a lot of English on it. So good job by the defense to make the out.
Pumas get that important out after letting the first 2 on a walk and an error.
And on the flip side of that, for the A's, you know, at this point in the game, you got to have productive outs. So if a fly ball like that doesn't move up the runners, if you can put it on the ground, there's a good chance you move your runners up 60 feet, give you the opportunity to have them both in scoring position, possibly get a run home.
Tara Testa is the leadoff batter. She's down at first base now with this at bat for Emily Tidd underway. And Testa, we did see her try 1 bunt, didn't get it down, and then ended up swinging away for that ground ball that got her on. Haven't seen a bunt out of the 1 or 2, a successful bunt from the 1 or 2 batters. So to your point, Michelle, that hasn't happened to move them up. This ball popped, and a nice sliding catch in the left. Chance to double off. Safe. Back diving in is Cassie Torres. Good defense applied out in left field by Danina Martin.
Martin coming in a long way. Good communication. Dominguez is going to jump over Martin as she dives in to make that catch. So good job of communicating and almost double them up.
Now Ariana Miranda, this is the number 4 batter in the order. So for the Athletics, they've got it where they want it as far as batting order. A couple of singles and an RBI. Good day for Ariana. A chance to make it a much better day, but now the Pumas thinking about the same possibility, and so slow it down, take a talk here with Carlos Gutierrez coming out from the dugout to speak to his defense. And the Athletics will counter with a huddle with Brian Tidd, their third base coach. There you see Coach Carlos Gutierrez talking to Danny East, who is using her glove to shield the huddle at third base. Luckily our camera is over here. You reading lips? Anybody reading lips right there? I don't know if the discussion's about a potential walk here, asking her if she wants to go ahead and put her on. Saw Danny shaking her head and laughing, shaking her head no and laughing. Don't know if that was a, oh no, let me go at her. Not sure what was getting talked about there.
I wouldn't intentionally walk her here. I wouldn't give her anything good to hit, because if you walk her, you're pushing the runners from first and second to second, you know, to loading the bases, even though there are 2 outs. So yeah, it is a tricky situation, Thad, but I think I would probably just intentionally walk her, make her strike herself out or get herself out.
Now
Yeah, kind of let her go and see if she's going to swing, play the corners a little bit,
Yeah.
a little extra.
Expand the strike zone, and if she swings at pitches, great. And if you do put her on, then yeah, just go after the next hitter.
58-mile-per-hour fastball works. One of the downsides of trying to get around Miranda is that on deck is Carissa Ornelas, who is also 2 for 3 today with a couple of singles, an RBI, and a fielder's choice her last time up. So you're really not improving your statistical chances if you try to get around Ariana.
But I think that
Right field, will it get down? It will not. Pumas dodge a bullet, 2 on and nobody out, and then bang, bang, bang come the outs, and the Pumas have a chance to win it in the bottom of the 7th inning in Colorado at the Sparkler. The top of the order for SoCal Pumas Black, Sammy Fabian in the box. Sammy with a base hit today, reached on an error and grounded out her first time up. 1 for 3 today with a run scored and a couple of stolen bases. Well, the fans for the SoCal Pumas Black are all over Carlos Gutierrez, saying, hey, we know you're just trying to get some TV time. That's why I called that timeout. They were razzing him during the inning break, saying, hey, that was just to get on TV. We know what you're doing. And Coach Gutierrez having a good laugh about that. Nice to see enjoying themselves even in a tight game here. Pop up and an out. Easily handled by Lexi Orozco.
An excellent choice to put Mia Marinakis back in the pitching circle. As a rise ball pitcher, she throws the ball up in the zone. The top of the lineup coming up for the Pumas all have speed, and their job is trying to hit the ball on the ground. So Mia Marinakis trying to induce pop-ups here and even maybe some strikeouts.
Ariana Miranda continues behind the plate for SoCal Athletics. Ripped to first, and no problem. Peyton Tidd with the glove and a smile.
Ball on the inside corner, just turned on and ripped down the line by Dominguez. And great defensive play over at first base. You gotta love the way Peyton Tidd picks up the ball, makes the out at first, second out of the inning.
Great attack swing by Noel Dominguez. Get that down the line, and you got a couple, maybe 3. But on the defense, handling it was Peyton Tidd. Well, not to be the jinx guy, but just because some might be wondering, extra inning format here would be runner put on second base. It's the last out of the previous batted inning. And then you play out a full inning, so no outs, no count when you start that inning. But just a runner on second. If we would go into the 8th inning. Still another shot here, though, for the Pumas, who have their number 3 batter, Danny East, who singled and scored. Bunt single her last time up. Now swinging away. Big, healthy swing. Fouled it back. Two-one count to Danny East. Really no visible rally headgear there in the Pumas dugout. Different than the Athletics approach.
Rally cheer.
Great eye paint, though. That ball bounces back fair, and Tidd stays with it. Crazy hop down the line, and Peyton Tidd makes a couple of big outs. Keeping that one on the dirt, and the defense of Tidd, a couple of unassisted putouts. Kicks back fair, just enough to keep it by the bag, and we're going to extra innings. Tied at 2 in Colorado.
It's the one out at second base. So a lot of different ways you can play. What about you, Monica?
I think defensively, this is the time for the pitcher to really step up and not let it be easy for them to bunt. You know, you want to get a pop-up, you want to get them to 2 strikes. So play with that zone, try and get to 2 strikes early so that you can take away that sacrifice bunt and put pressure on them, on the bunters, so that if they are going to try and bunt with 2 strikes, that they have to be perfect.
Swinging is Carissa Ornelas. Again, 2 for 3 today as Ornelas. A couple of singles and an RBI earlier. One of her team's 2 RBI in this game. Carissa swings and sends it to an 0-2 count. Last out, Ariana Miranda is the runner out at second base.
Now Ornelas with 2 strikes is going to be important for her to take the ball with her to the right side. But Danny East coming up big with a strikeout.
Now, see, I would probably play that differently. If you're going to let your kids swing away, which they did on the second strike, so they tried to bunt on the first, and then they swung away on the second, I'd actually give them the first strike. Give them the first strike, let them swing away, because the defense is in. Then, if they missed it or fouled it, I'd have them bunt the second pitch. So, a couple different ways you can play that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, Michelle. If you're going to let them swing on the first pitch, definitely, get the corners to take a step back, respect the fact that they might not bunt.
And then you put the bunt down, exactly.
Alexa Neal batting with an 0-1 count. And a conversation here. Third base coach Brian Tidd steps down the line. favorite thing about coaching for Brian Tidd and Fernando Ornelas, watching these girls grow into great players and young ladies, the coaches said. Had a team barbecue at a lake here in Colorado while in town for the Sparkler. A lot of fun side activities. You know, there's all kinds of tournament activities outside of your games, camps and clinics, and Triple Crown Idol competitions for singing and things like that. But at some point, it's great to take your team and just go do something else. The Pumas went rafting, was what they did together. So again, more memories that will never leave a brain. And I'm sure something happened on that rafting trip that somebody's going to be embarrassed about and going to be teased about for the next 10, 20 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alexa Neal, good shot of Janet and Mike's kid. Lives out in the country with her horses. Her saying is Princess doesn't wear glass slippers, she wears metal cleats. Pops this up above shortstop. And up there where Amanda was hovering earlier, that ball comes back out of the sky. And now 2 batters and no movement from that extra inning runner, Miranda. She's been stuck at second now for the first 2 at-bats.
Pitch up in the zone just gets popped up. And when I spoke with the A's coaches before the game, they did say that small ball is not their thing. They're more station-to-station power-type hitters. And you can tell struggling here in a situation where small ball is important.
Noel Dominguez caught the pop-up for the second out. And here's the batter I talked about earlier who just makes me want to get out of the way with the swing. And there's a good hack down the left field line. That bounces, it'll score the run. Lexi Orozco, RBI double, her team's on top. Well, there is the non-small ball game. That's the big ball game, the double. 1 hop the fence.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to respect the SoCal A's for sticking to their guns, sticking to what they do best. They are a power hitting team. They don't rely as much on the short game, and here in extra innings it came up big for them.
Mia Marinakis now to bat with 2 down. Teammate on second base. Orozco, her second hit of the day, now 2 for 4, a single and a double on the day, and her first RBI gives her team their 3rd run, and this lead in the 8th, which is our first extra inning. Orozco out at second base, working a little arm momentum start on the pitch, gets a little arm swing to try to get herself launched out off of the bag. See her arms come together and come up if she does the same thing she did last time. Into the lean. This ball hit up behind third in the foul ground. Nice running catch by Noel Dominguez. Couple catches for Dominguez in the inning, but the big double from Lexi Orozco. Chance to win it in the bottom of the 8th, but the Pumas have other ideas. Fans enjoying the action at Aurora Sports Park tonight at the Sparkler from Triple Crown Sports in Colorado. Well, we talked strategy last half. Now that you're down a run with that runner at second base, Michelle, we'll go to you first. How do you approach this from the Pumas dugout?
Well, from the Pumas dugout, they're going to need to make sure they get their runner over to third base if possible and try to punch the ball right side, score a run, get the ball out on the green. And, you know, they're in a situation now where they've got to put a run up on the board.
Monica, where are you headed with your approach?
You know, I say go for the bunt. You got to score at least 1. You have to at least tie it here in this situation to go another inning, to live another day.
And for the A's, you know, because they did score traditional softball, you need to try to get the out. If you can get the lead runner, you go after her. And if you can't, and you're not positive you can get the lead runner, you got to get the out at first, because you don't want to put another runner on base, because then that potentially becomes the winning run.
And a pitch out on the first pitch, snap throw down. So the Athletics trying to run some defense, see if they can snipe the runner. And it's ball 1. Mia Marinakis still handles the pitching. Danny East, who has scored today and legged out a bunt, so she's got good speed. That ball fouled back, got a piece of the bat of Danina Martin. And it's 1-1.
Martin tries to get out of the way, but does not pull the bat back quick enough So foul ball strike for the A's.
1-1 pitch to Martin. Pounds it down. Going to third with it, throwing it away. Game's going to tie on that. And Martin's going to have some extra bases. Safe at the plate. Good play back in from left. Much closer than I thought it might be. But East, who has displayed, as Michelle has talked about, athleticism today. And now they trade spots with nobody out. Same situation, and now we're tied.
East gets up very quick in this situation, and it is a great throw from left and a nice slide. Otherwise, she potentially could have been out if she tried to go straight into the bag. I'm kind of surprised, though, that the A's went after the out at third. That was clearly a situation on that bunt developing slowly. They weren't going to get the out at third. You got to get the out at first in that situation.
Now a chance to win it. Bunt down again. Defense rotates. Safe at first. Runners on the corners. Nobody out. So on the throwaway on that bunt, Martin had moved to second, now moves to third. And Athletics need to talk about it. For those of you looking for the Winston-Salem Myrtle Beach MILB game on CBS Sports Network, that is coming up next. We're finishing extra innings at the Triple Crown Sparkler in Colorado, and we check back in with Amanda Scarborough.
Well, remember, this is the Pumas game, small ball. In order to get here, they scored 8 runs off of impact gold just in the first inning, and it was all on that small ball momentum and that they have and using their speed. So no different here. When the tough gets going, this is where they're sticking to.
Well, and that's a good point, Amanda. We saw that the A's scored the way that they typically score, which was a long ball double hit over the outfield. They weren't able to play the small ball, but it didn't hurt them because they did get that double when they needed it. But for the A's, they are all about this. They've got good speed. They are intuitive on the base paths, and they put the defense in motion. And if the defense makes mental errors or physical errors, it's going to be a huge advantage to the Pumas.
And again, we will get you to the Winston-Salem Dash and Myrtle Beach Pelicans baseball game coming up next on CBS Sports Network. Might have an intentional walk coming here to load the bases up. Runners on the corners, nobody out. Jessica Jimenez.
Definitely a strategy decision here. You don't want to give up this go-ahead run. Making an easy play where a ground ball can put that force out.
So I'm on a sort of a side note here, but 19 years of youth coaching for me. I coach baseball, and I'm not a big fan of intentional walks in the youth game. This is one spot where you don't really have a choice. I know some of the fans here aren't too excited about it because you want to see your kid get the hit and all that, but the only run that matters here is the runner at third. And if you want the force, you want whatever you can get here to get that out. We're tied, and that run scores. It's over. So the Pumas here will accept the intentional pass to Jessica Jimenez, and that brings Sarah Ketcherick to the plate. And now again, discussion. Carlos Gutierrez meeting up with his offense. The Athletics having a non-coach meeting out defensively. And it's Sarah Ketchering who will have a chance to walk it off here with nobody out. So the Pumas obviously sitting in the driver's seat with their foot completely on the pedal here.
Yeah, and I think the thing for the Pumas, though, they have to be careful. This is a situation where, because they do play a lot of small ball, they need to hit away and put the ball on the green. So they're in a good situation here, Sarah being a right-handed hitter versus one of the slappers. And you can see her taking some big cuts, thinking about, all I need to do is put the ball out on the grass.
Infield, of course, pulled in tight. Ari Miranda has moved around to first base now. Kenzie Bolin out there at second. It's Lexi Orozco at short. Looks like Mia Marinakis, perhaps. Nope, check that. Cassandra Torres still playing at third base. My correction on that. Marinakis, of course, in the circle right now. Popped it up behind home plate. Bouncing off the backstop. No chance for a catch to round out that defense. Carissa Ornelas is behind the plate right now. Everybody crashing to that ball. Athletics hoping for a relatively easy one, but that ball carried too far back to the backstop. So back into the box goes Sarah Ketchering with a 1-1 count. hit batter. Now the intentional walk does come back to bite you. Loaded him up and then hit her in the heel. And the Pumas, after trailing all the way to the bottom of the 6th inning, tied it up, took it to extras, and win it 4-3. Champions of the Triple Crown 1400 Futures Championship game, the SoCal Pumas Black. Congratulations to both of our teams on their making it to this game, and it's the Pumas who get the hardware. For Michelle Smith, Monica Abbott, and Amanda Scarborough, our entire crew, I'm Thad Anderson. For scores, highlights, features, and more, go to CBSSports.com. The Sparkler Fireworks Futures Championship game is produced by Triple Crown Sports in association with CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.